Hi everyone, so welcome to today's video. Today we're doing a viral, overly hyped product testing, and I'm really curious about this product. It's been sold out so many times on the Ulta website. I finally got a notification that it was back. I ordered a shade that I thought would work. I have it, and we're gonna try it today. It's the CoverGirl Skin Perfector Essence. Yes, I finally picked this up. I ordered shade 20 in light. Hopefully that works. There's only a few shades that I felt like I probably could make work. It was between this shade 20 and the fair shade, but I thought that the fair could be a little light. So this has a lot of claims. It is a skincare and makeup hybrid type of product. We've seen a lot of these types of products on the market that infuse skincare into the makeup. So here's a close-up of the product if you have not seen it in person or if it's not available at your local drugstore. This is what it looks like in the packaging, and I've just sort of taken the cap off. It has a pump, which is nice for pumping it directly onto your brush or your makeup palette at the back of your hand. So I don't have the high-end product that's been compared to this. I have seen that so many times on Instagram, a picture of this and the Chanel one, and I don't have Chanel, so I don't know if that's any good and if it's the same, if it's better, or if this is better or worse. I don't know. But I do have the one from Rose Inc., the Luminous Tinted Serum, and I do feel like they are very, very similar in the appearance. Now, I have had experience with Rose Inc. for a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point, and I really do like this for a very light sheer type of coverage when I'm running errands. But I do feel like with this formula from Rose Inc., there is a little bit more work that needs to be done with blending. I'm assuming that the one from CoverGirl is going to do the exact same thing because of the same sort of formula that's here. Now, this could blend better, this could blend worse than Rose Inc. So that is what we're doing today. We're going to try this out and see what the hype is about, and see why people are raving about this, why it keeps selling out. And just to kind of give you reference, this is right around that $20 price point at the drugstore, and it will vary from drugstore to drugstore. For Target to Walmart to CVS, Walgreens, they may all be kind of very similar in that price point, but this is already creeping over that $20 mark. Can you believe it at the drugstore? I can't. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. I've got my damp beauty blender ready to go in case I need this for blending. It says to blend with fingers or a brush on the back with the directions, so I think I'm going to use a brush to apply it and just try to follow what it says. I'm going to go straight into this, pumping it a couple times to get it going. Oh, I'm going to do 2 pumps on my makeup palette just to see how far that takes me. So here's 2 pumps on my makeup palette, and as you can see, hopefully, if I don't blind you, that it is very runny. So it's definitely one of those very watery type of consistencies, and that may be because the formula is supposed to be a hydrating formula, but that just kind of gives you an idea for how thin the product is and how runny it is. And for blending, I'm going to use my Nisa Pinnacle foundation brush that I absolutely love. It works beautifully for foundation, and this brush never fails me with blending with streaks. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorites. And I'm going to just sort of break up the little spheres, which is what I do with the Rose Inc., because it does tend to kind of separate a little bit just because you're mixing pigment and a more water-based formula. So I'm mixing the two together. So all I have on my face is skincare. No primer. We're just going to skip over primer and go directly in with the brush and start blending right over the skincare. And we're going to see how, okay, well, that actually had more pigment than I expected. Okay. So I feel like I definitely got a lot of product. So I'm going to just kind of work this through my skin really quickly, and then I'm going to come back and blend, because I feel like maybe 1 pump, I should have done that first and then gone from there. But it's blending in actually a lot better than I thought. And this shade seems to be a decent match. Of course, it's going to look a little off. I will add some bronzer here with the rest of my products in a moment, but I feel like this does look kind of light. So this is kind of like a rough blend, just so you can see a little bit the coverage and how it's looking so far. I do think it has more coverage than I expected. Like, this definitely was far beyond what I expected. I did not see any reviews. I didn't read too much from reviews online because I didn't want that to be in my mind as I went into this. I really wanted to try it based off of my own curiosity, because a product that's so viral, that sells out, hard to get your hands on, there has to be a reason why people are going crazy about this, right? And I didn't want to let other reviews or videos sort of influence my thought process beforehand and sort of change what I was anticipating or what I was thinking in my mind. I just wanted this to be as organic and as natural as possible. I would say this looks pretty good considering the issues that I've had with my skin over the last month and a half. If you've seen my previous videos, my skin has been really hard to deal with. It's been really dry. I think it's just the heat with the cold temperatures. It's really taking a toll on my skin. And I'm just gonna build as I talk to you here on this side, because I feel like this side has more coverage than this other side did. But anyways, with the heat on, I feel like that definitely has affected the way my skin is looking and how the makeup goes on. It's crazy, because I never really had dry skin to that severity where it was really bad for a little while. Okay, so here's what it looks like with the 2 pumps. I pretty much used everything that I pumped out. I still have just a little bit more, but I feel like 1 pump is probably gonna give me some pretty good coverage to give me a very sort of light coverage, a quick, easy, simple get ready with me where I don't want to use a lot of product or layer a lot of coverage on. But this looks actually really good. Of course, my skin is dry, and you know, there are some little areas around the parameters where I do have dryness, and that's an issue that I have with pretty much anything because of what my skin is going through, just some changes and just kind of looking a little dry, kind of like around here. So considering the state that my skin has been in, I'm very pleased with this so far. And again, this is just a first impression of applying the product, but I do feel like it gave me some really nice coverage, and it blended very easily over my skincare. I think the brush is key as well, using a brush that doesn't soak up too much of the product so you can get some coverage out of it, because this is going to be sort of I would say this is a good solid light coverage. I do have some imperfection, like some sunspots that are sort of starting to creep up from underneath the skin, and I can see some scarring a little bit. But if I were to layer this, I probably could get a little bit more coverage on those areas. So I honestly think this is better than I expected, to be honest with you. I went into this with my fingers and my toes crossed, hoping that it would work, because I have not had the best of luck with drugstore products in the past with complexion-based products. So I'm so excited to try this again tomorrow and sort of maybe try it with some of my favorite primers and see if the primer underneath affects how this applies and wears. But I'm going to continue with the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back to show you how everything sort of looks together. So here's what everything looks like together. I did add some more makeup products. I did a mixture of liquids and powders just to see how this Skin Perfector Essence from CoverGirl is going to play with those products. So for the bronzer, I use the Bronzing Serum from Physicians Formula. This is a new product from the drugstore that came out with their 2024 collection that I picked up and did a video all about their products. Concealer, I mixed 2, one from Revlon and one from the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop range. I will list and link the shades down below for you. And everything blended out well. I did set my under eye though with a little bit of the Dermablend Banana Brightening Powder to set my concealer. I always set my concealer, so I was not going to skip that. I do notice that a bit of texture enhancing right in here with the product. It could be blending the concealers together over the CoverGirl product. It could be the powder. It could be a combination of those 3. So we'll have to see, but that is a spot there that I feel like I can fix, and I don't really notice that anywhere else. So it's still something that I can overlook and get past. I did use a little bit of a sneaky powder through my T-zone because this does have a more hydrated, more sort of dewy look to the skin than I prefer, especially in the T-zone where I do produce oil. So I use my Kosas Cloud Set in the shade called Airy. This is a very finely milled powder where it sets your face without looking heavy, without feeling cakey, without feeling and looking like a powder. It gives a really pretty sort of airbrushed effect, and this went on over the CoverGirl product beautifully, and it just sort of toned down a little bit of dewiness, but you can still see the freshness of the skin, and I like that. The blush that I'm wearing is the Baked Powder Blush from Milani in the shade Petal Primavera. I do love this blush, and I try to pull a lot of drugstore products to use with this because I wanted to do an affordable look today. And then the lip product is just my NYX Fat Oil in the shade Supermodel, which is that pretty pink shade. And the brows, it's simple. It's the Maybelline Express Brow, and that is it. Just some mascara. The mascara is L'Oreal Telescopic Lift, and that is the full face. So far I'm really impressed with the way this is looking. I'm excited to try this again tomorrow with my primers underneath, maybe using a powder bronzer. I feel like using more powder products over this could sort of help balance out that dewiness that I'm seeing. For me personally, I would want it to be just a little less dewy, but someone with very dry skin will really love that. Someone with mature skin would enjoy that as well. For oily skin, you may want to use this with something that's more mattifying, oil controlling underneath for a primer. And then maybe a little bit of setting powder over the top to make this work if you still want to try this product, and you really have to play around with it to see if it's going to be something that someone with oily skin is going to enjoy, because I don't have a lot of oiliness, just a little bit through the T-zone, but the majority of my face is slightly dry. So I feel like it's more of a combination skin that I have, and I feel like I like the way this looks, and I hope that it wears well throughout the rest of the day. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I had a product in my collection that was similar to this, and it's the Rose Inc Luminous Tinted Serum. And I will say, just off of my first impressions for this, I think the CoverGirl one has more coverage. And I also believe that the CoverGirl one blends easier and more seamless onto the skin without any streaks. With this one from Rose Inc, if you've seen my videos talking about this product, I've always used my fingers to blend because I feel like it doesn't work as great with a brush. And I feel like that's probably why you may come across reviews on this product that may not be as positive about it, because it does take some working. You have to work and break those pigments up first, then blend it into your skin with your fingers or a brush. I didn't have to do that with CoverGirl, and I felt like I got a really good blend and a streak-free look, and maybe the brush has a lot to do with it, because this Pinnacle brush from Anissa is one of my top favorite brushes. I did a video all about my entire brush collection that I love and I feel like are must-haves, and this was one of my top picks for foundation. So it could be the brush, but I'm going to try this tomorrow with maybe my Hourglass brush, maybe try it with the IT Cosmetics that I like to see if I get the same result, because this blended out a lot easier for me than Rose Inc, and the coverage was more right off the bat with CoverGirl than the Rose Inc. So that kind of gives you an idea. If you were curious about this, if you have questions about this product or want to know more, let me know and I can answer your questions or do a video featuring this. So let me know. I love hearing from you guys. And I hope that this video was helpful. It was something that I wanted to try and I wanted to see what the hype was about, and I can see it makes the skin look really nice and fresh and just more perfected without feeling and looking like I have a lot of product on my skin. So I do like it. And I do look forward to using that again. So if you have any questions about the CoverGirl product, let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here. The description box is going to have everything listed and linked for you below in case you want to shop anything that I'm using today. I appreciate you so much for being here and for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Take care, you guys, and I'll catch you very, very soon. Bye-bye.